How's it going, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to Good Chronic Reactions. Well, Good Chronic Convos. My name is Siphon, and today, happy May the 4th. It is May 4th, so it's Star Wars Day, and I am a Star Wars fan, so for all of you who didn't know, I really love Star Wars, and today we're going to dedicate it to Star Wars and talking about Star Wars. I know yesterday I said I was going to talk about faith and religious, and go over some like religious TikToks with you guys and what they're kind of showing about the world today, but we'll do that some other time. Today we'll go ahead and do Star Wars, since it is May the 4th. I was gonna say May the Force, but anyways, before we get into all that Star Wars good stuff, as we always do on this channel, let's get our bongs, let's get our blunts, let's get our spliffs, let's get our vapes, let's get our coffee, let's get our OJ, let's take this hit, and let's get into the show. Now, I do have some videos lined up for you today. Well, it's mostly just a one video, but I do have some stuff lined for you guys today, and yeah, so let's get into this. Let me go ahead and take my hit. I'll be back, and here we go. So let's get right into it. This is basically all the lightsaber duels in Star Wars. I might have to mute it, but I'll give you some explanation. So here we go. First battle, Qui-Gon Jinn versus Darth Maul. So this is in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Before I keep going, mind you, all this footage, everything, this is all fair use. It's just clips. It's not the full movie or anything, so here we go. Alright, so that first battle, that first lightsaber duel, well, small lightsaber duel, that was between Qui-Gon Jinn and Darth Maul. So both of those characters, I really like both of those characters. They're some of my favorite Star Wars characters, especially Darth Maul. As much as maybe a lot of people don't like him, I really liked Darth Maul. Qui-Gon Jinn, he's also one of my other favorite characters. His history in the Star Wars lore, his history with the Council and becoming a Jedi and everything. His story is pretty cool, so maybe one day we'll talk about it. But Qui-Gon Jinn is basically Obi-Wan Kenobi's master. So he's the one who teaches Obi-Wan Kenobi what Obi-Wan Kenobi basically knows. And yeah, so this was the first battle when they first. So basically, in the Phantom Menace, they meet. What's his name? Anakin on the planet of Tatooine, which is also known as the planet of two suns. And basically, they find him. They get. They're about to take him back to Coruscant, and I guess the dark side of the Force also felt the presence of Anakin, and so they sent Darth Maul. So spoiler if you don't know who the Sith Lord in Phantom Menace is, but spoiler alert, it's Emperor Palpatine. So Palpatine is known as I believe it's Sidious. Yes, so he's Darth Sidious. He is the Sith Lord of the basically the first 6 movies. So from episodes 4, 5, and 6, which were the first movies to come out, and then 1, 2, and 3, he is the Sith Lord. Darth Vader is basically his second in command, but we'll get into that later on. The next battle is going to be Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn versus Darth Maul. So here we go. So the green saber is Qui-Gon, and the blue saber is Kenobi. So basically, Qui-Gon's going to go one-on-one with Darth Maul. Well, it's pretty much been Qui-Gon and Darth Maul for the last little bit, but it's gonna be like officially them two alone. Kenobi can't even like interfere, and you'll see in a moment. Yep, exactly. He can't interfere because he gets blocked away. So he's forced to watch his master fight Darth Maul. And honestly, it's a pretty good fight. It's a pretty good saber fight. And Darth Maul destroys, kills Qui-Gon Jinn. Of course, Kenobi is mad as hell. Look at that. He's like, I got you, son. I got you. You ain't gonna get me. Boom. Maul's like, you think it's over? No way. I will not be cut down by you. Yes, you will, Kenobi says. No, I won't. It is over. Die. And he basically kicks his sword down, so Kenobi has no saber now. He takes his master saber and whop! Slice! So, that was very significant in the Star Wars verse, just because in the animated series, Darth Maul comes back, so he actually doesn't die in this duel. Yes, he is beaten, and it's assumed that he's dead. So even his master, who is Darth Tyrannus, who is Count Dooku. Even him, they are they're like they believe that he's dead, and for the most part he may as well be, because we don't get to see him even in the Clone Wars animated series till I think it's like season 5 or something like that. So, or season 4. I can't remember exactly, but I think it's one of those seasons. And yeah, so there's more of him to come. We will go ahead and continue the battles here, so let's go on. So this is Anakin Skywalker and Kenobi. So this was basically like flashback in the show Kenobi on Disney Plus. And it's basically a training session that he's having, that Anakin is having with Kenobi. Anakin is also known as one of the best lightsaber duelists in Star Wars, just because of how he used the techniques and the way that he used them. And even he himself, as a Jedi, he was very in tune with both sides of the Force. See, there I go again. In this part, in that part, basically we saw how he's training with Obi-Wan, and he thinks that because he took away his master's weapon, his master is not able to fight back. And so Kenobi shows him why he's the master and takes his sword away from him. So this is all to kind of like just go back and show that at this point he's still a Padawan. At this point he's still learning. He's not yet a Jedi, and like you can even see it. Like he still has the Padawan ponytail thing that they give them. So next battle or duel is Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, and Yoda versus Count Dooku. So basically, Count Dooku, as I mentioned previously, he is the current, or was the second to Palpatine, and even though Dooku was a separatist and Palpatine was on technically the side of the Republic, this was like how they defeated basically the Jedi Order. They had the Jedi thinking that it was only from one side that the attack was coming from, not realizing that right underneath them, the person that they should have looked at the most and should have been most weary about was literally right under their nose. And that person became the Emperor, and then became the New Galactic Emperor. And so, yeah, that's a little history for you. So here we go with this battle. Count Dooku was also one of the very best duelists amongst the Jedi. He seldom, if ever, lost a battle. So, as you can see, Kenobi's just being cut down. And then Anakin, here comes Anakin with the dual saber technique, and then watch what's gonna happen to him. Yep, his is gone too. And mind you, he's still a Padawan here. He's not yet, a Jedi. And as you can see, Count Dooku cuts both of them up. Now it takes literally Count Dooku's master to come and actually... Alright, you did enough damage now. Now this is Yoda. In case you guys don't know, Yoda's a bad ass. Just watch him duel. You see? His old Padawan. So this is going to be Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker versus Count Dooku. So the last one was in episode 2. This one is going to be episode 3. And in this battle, you're going to see like a drastic difference in how even Anakin is fighting. So at this point now, Anakin is a Jedi. He's a Jedi Master, and at this point also, he has also undertaken the Padawan Ahsoka Tano. Now, in the events that are occurring here, anyways, you know what? Before we get into all of that, I'll explain that as we go on. Let's just get into the video. Notice he has no more haircut, no more ponytail, so he's no longer a Padawan. As you can see, he's a lot more fierce. He has a new robot hand, so he's able to actually fight with both hands now. And this time it's important that this gets seen, because he literally kills him in front of the Emperor. That is very significant because of the fact that the Emperor Palpatine, he is the Sith Lord. And so he is Darth Sidious. And so because of that, and Anakin, as we know later on, he is the one who becomes Darth Vader. This is symbolic in the fact that Anakin destroys or kills the Sith Lord's apprentice, basically, and now becomes the new apprentice to the Sith Lord. So that's why that's significant. And as you saw, he was way more fierce. He had a lot more fight in him. He wasn't going down as easily as he did in the last one. Kenobi, old, a little bit more sluggish, couldn't react as fast, or maybe didn't see the reaction coming in time, so maybe that's why. But at the same time, as you saw, he ended up being force held. He couldn't move. Anakin gets kicked away. As soon as he does, though, he gets back up. He's like, nah, I'm not having this. Kick you over the ledge. Alright, boom. So yeah, it was a very different fight on Anakin's side, a very different fight on Obi-Wan's side. Similar result as the last one for Obi-Wan. Anakin, of course, he has the upper hand. He's still more spry, and the Force with him has grown as well. And he's faced so many different battles. At this point in time, there's also Count Dooku, who had an apprentice, other than Maul, and her name was Asajj Ventress. And so we'll get into Asajj Ventress when we do the actual Clone Wars animated series episode. So let's get into this next one. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi and General Grievous. Yeah. So this is Clone Wars. So Grievous is not a Jedi or a Sith anything. He's just a biomechanical being, basically, that decided to trade his body for machine parts, and ended up being an apprentice to Count Dooku. But not in the same way that, let's say, as I mentioned, Asajj Ventress as Darth Maul were, because Grievous didn't have any control or ability with the Force, and even when he was, and so as he's all machine and everything, he can't use the Force in any kind of way. So there's that. This one is the Council versus Darth Sidious, and as I mentioned before, Darth Sidious is the Emperor Palpatine, and when they find out that finally, he is Darth Sidious, they try to go after him. It doesn't really work out in their favor, though. So here's the battle, and even in Star Wars lore, and the Darth Sidious was a very formidable duelist. So check this out. See that? Kill 1, kill 2, pop, 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 kill 3. And there's my guy, Mace. Master and Mace Windu. And it looks like a little bit their sabers are the same color, but they're not, Mace Windu's saber is purple, and Sidious is red. Now watch this glass break. And everybody believes that he kills Mace Windu here, but watch. So basically what happens in that scene is, he's at the end there fighting with Emperor Palpatine, and Anakin walks in. This is also symbolic because at this time Anakin's undergoing a kind of change from the Force, and is moving from the light side to the dark side of the Force. And basically, as that's happening, he goes to try and, I guess, stop the battle between the Council and Darth Sidious, but he gets there a little bit too late, and Darth Sidious is about to, be cut down by Mace Windu. And so he ends up intervening, cutting Mace Windu's arm off, and hand off. And at that moment, Palpatine decides to do the Force Lightning, and so shoots his Force Lightning at Mace Windu. Mace Windu flies out the window, falls out the window basically, but we never actually see a body or anything like that. And as we always know, in Hollywood, if you don't see the body at the end, normally that means that they're still alive. And in this case with Star Wars, we know that Jedis and stuff, they use the Force. So it's a very probable chance that Mace Windu is still alive and did use the Force in order to prevent himself from dying. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. This next one is, of course, Yoda versus Darth Sidious. This is another important battle because at this point, of course, Yoda is the head of the Jedi Council. So, yeah, let's watch. Yoda is so sick. Look at that tiny little green thing move. Whoever they had to do all those flips and everything for Yoda, kudos to that person, cause jeez. See, that was the Force lightning there. Next one is Anakin and Obi-Wan. This was a lot of saber touching. Pop, 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 pop. A lot of force blowing. And because of how their weapons are and what their weapons are, cutting through steel and stuff is not a problem. Look at that. Although this this is where you still see how Kenobi is still a master to Anakin. Now they're gonna jump off, fall into some lava. How they're not I don't know. This is a crazy duel. But as you can see, there's a lot of saber tapping. Now they're on a smaller platform, floating through the lava. Luckily, there's a little shield on it. And as you just saw, Anakin lost that battle. And basically, that battle is the first part, or first assignment that he's given for Order 66, which is basically to annihilate and go and kill all the Jedi. So yeah, he fails killing Obi-Wan, but let's just say all the other Jedi did not suffer that kind of lucky fate. This one is their second battle. So I watched episodes 4, 5, and 6, obviously, before I ever watched episodes 1, 2, and 3. And I believe it's in episode 5. I believe it's in episode 5 where Obi-Wan and Darth Vader meet for the first time since the events that happened on the previous battle, the planet that they're on, all that lava and everything. The planet is called Mustafar. Since they had fought on Mustafar, and this battle is going to be the battle that happened in the Kenobi Disney Plus show, which happens definitely, obviously, years before the actual first battle actually happens amongst them. So there's, this obviously is going to make some confusion. But anyways, let's watch this, and yeah, you'll see. I didn't really like this battle too much, but whatever. Big difference between how they're fighting here and how they were fighting on Mustafar, huh? Overall, I will say this. This show, Kenobi, there was a lot that they could have improved on. I wish that they didn't portray Kenobi as this, like, derelict. Anyways. So, Vader versus the third sister. Now, obviously this is still in that show, Kenobi, the previous battle that you saw with Darth Vader and Kenobi. That was their first meeting in the show. So they meet a couple of times in the show before they end up meeting in Empire Strikes Back, I believe. So yeah, anyways, so this is the third sister. This girl used to be a Jedi Padawan. She almost died, got taken up by the Inquisitors and stuff, made her way up, and now she's a sister being given orders directly from Vader. So honestly, I'm not too fond of this part of stuff, and like even like the battle didn't really make too much sense to me, but here it is. What do you guys make of it? Honestly, I'm not too impressed with that battle. That battle also was just, I mean, how do you think you're gonna go up against Vader? Like, Vader is not just a Jedi Master, he becomes a Sith Lord, literally. So, I don't know. That all just seemed like too emotionally charged. But then again, I guess that's what it would be on the dark side of the Force. You let your anger take control and you let it, like, move you in your fight and so forth. Anyways, next battle, Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Darth Vader. This is, I guess, the last battle amongst that they have. Didn't like this one too much either. Let's watch it. He's trying to catch that pep in his step back, you know. It's not working the best, but you know, he's staying alive. And so because they can obviously cut through any kind of steel, they can obviously cut through rock.
That is why you will always lose.
Basically tries to bury him. So Vader thinks like, yeah, I got you, but you know, can't do the master like that. I'm glad they didn't. Now he comes back more ferocious. Alright, I got this. I can do these saber tricks again. Alright, there you go. Feel this. I can use the Force too, Vader. I taught you how to use it. You want to bury me? Avoid this. Pop, 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 pop. That's like an attack that frickin' what's his name? Chaozu would do in Dragon Ball. And now he's beating Vader bad. He's like, I got your number now. I'm gonna slice your face off. Told you, I taught you how to use this Force, baby. Told you I'm gonna cut your face off. Now, this was supposed to be where they first meet in episode. Which one was this? Was this episode 4? Or was this episode 5? I'm pretty sure it was episode 5 that they first meet. So, anyways, this was the actual first time they meet. So this is all the way back, like in the 70s when this came out. So, yeah. Anyways, let's watch.
Can't win, Darth.
Can't win, Darth.
I shall become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
You should not have come back.
This lightsaber duel makes a lot more sense than the other ones, though. You know, I'll tell you that much. The way it's being actually fought makes a lot more sense than the way they were fighting in the other battles. Like, for the main reason that, like, when you fight with a sword, especially a double-edged sword, and in this case, uh, all-around edged sword, like, anywhere that you get touched with that sword, you're gonna get cut. So it's the same thing. Like when it comes to, the lightsabers at any, doesn't matter, up, down, left, right, uh, you know, however, as long as that blade is touching you, you're getting lit on fire and being chopped off. So yeah, but let's watch this next one. This one is Luke Skywalker versus, well, okay, so the last battle between Kenobi and Darth Vader, I think what they actually did was they they probably studied or had them learn what's that called, fencing. And if you notice how Obi-Wan Kenobi kept, like, holding his lightsaber in front of him, and then just kept so yeah, however that motion is supposed to go, just kept, anyways. Luke Skywalker versus Cave Vader. Oh, this is when Luke is supposed to basically learn kind of about himself, and if he's ready to go to the light or the dark side. This is him versus the actual Darth Vader. Luke was still a little kid in this one. He didn't really know anything. He was basically a Padawan. He had no actual training.
You have learned much, young one.
You'll find I'm full of surprises.
And as you can see, Darth Vader is pretty much taunting him, and basically is like, yeah, you've learned much, huh? Oh, yeah, show me. I want to see all this much you've learned.
No.
All too easy. Perhaps you are not as strong as the Emperor thought. Impressive. Most impressive. Now, release your anger. Only your hatred can destroy me.
And of course, he's being defeated because, Darth Vader's using the Force. And young Luke Skywalker still hasn't learned how to use the Force properly.
It is useless to resist. Don't let yourself be destroyed as Obi-Wan did.
Makes him mad by making him believe that Obi-Wan is dead. Basically, then you see he cuts his shoulder and gets his arm cut off. They always get their hand cut off. Next one again, Luke Skywalker versus Darth Vader. This is the next battle, though. So, this is the Luke Skywalker that, as a fan, and as I know many other fans, this is the Luke Skywalker that we are expecting when it comes to all this new stuff. Because where they leave off in episode 6 is pretty much where what's that show? The Mandalorian. In that show, The Mandalorian, episode that's around where episode 6 falls. So, or episode 5 and 6. So basically, the events that occur during the Mandalorian season are before this battle actually occurs between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. So that hasn't happened yet, basically, in the Mandalorian show. So it hasn't happened technically. So watching it here and seeing how he's moving here and the green saber, and this is what we want to see as fans. We want to see him actually being the Jedi that we thought that, but then they brought out those movies, made him. Anyways, on to the battle. This is basically father and son fighting. Technically, it's supposed to be Leia Skywalker, but yeah. So, Princess Leia is Luke Skywalker's sister. She's his twin. They're twins. So at the end of episode 3 in the Star Wars movies, at the end of episode 3, you see Padme giving birth to 2 babies. One of them is Luke, and the other one is Leia. Leia gets taken by Senator Bail Organa and becomes basically her daughter. And she becomes basically the princess of... I can't remember anymore. Anyways, she becomes a princess, and she's basically known as Princess Leia, and Luke Skywalker is her brother, but she doesn't know until I think the events of episode 6. And yeah, so this is like I guess we'll see. I don't remember this battle. Okay, now I remember it. So this was in the new trilogy, and it's basically Luke and it was in the new trilogy, and basically she becomes also a Jedi and learns the ways of the Force. This is what I like. So Ahsoka was the Padawan to Anakin Skywalker, aka Darth Vader. So check it out. Now that spear that the other lady is holding, that's a Beskar steel spear. So Beskar is way stronger than steel, and so even the sound that it makes as it collides with the sabers, you can hear that. Yep. I really like how this video was made. So young goat, whoever he is, keep up the good work. This was a really well made video because he basically put all the battles, all the lightsaber duels in basically chronological order. So in chronological order of how it is currently. So this is really well done. Of course, Din Djarin, aka Mando, versus Moff Gideon. This is when Moff Gideon is battling him with the Darksaber. I really love that show, The Mandalorian. Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, they really made a great show with that, especially with everything that's going on at Star Wars. This show is still, and I mean, the 3rd season was a little bit lackluster. I didn't really like the way it ended either, but we'll let it pass, only because we understand there are other forces at play, and the dark side is getting stronger. Alright, let's get into this. That's that Beskar spear from before, and the Darksaber. The Darksaber is very symbolic also in Star Wars lore, especially to the Mandalorians and everything. If y'all haven't checked out that show yet, The Mandalorian, y'all should check it out. it's and of course because Moff Gideon isn't actually a Jedi. He's not actually like really trained to use swords. He's a blaster guy, really. Um, that's one of the main reasons why he lost that battle. And I mean, when you're using a saber, you kind of like anticipate like seeing the force being wielded or using or those saber battles with like force push being added or force pull or like things like that. So um, the fact that Moff Gideon isn't a force wielder in any way, shape, or form, it was useless. It was like him trying to even hold a regular sword against a warrior who knows how to actually use a spear and other different weapons. He isn't as versed in swordsmanship, but it's for the show. So this is Mando versus Paz Vizsla. So Din Djarin versus Paz Vizsla. They're both Mandalorian, and they could technically both be called Mando. And as you can see, Din isn't as able to use the dark saber yet. It's also very heavy because it was also made with the force. So in order for him to actually like wield it properly and like wield its energy, it's hard. Even look at the other guy who's now holding it. The other guy can barely like lift it.
It is done.
So as you saw, Din won. So Paz Vizsla is another Mandalorian. But basically Din won, and so even for him to win, the dark saber, as they call it, will feel a little bit more lighter to him. Will feel a little bit more, will feel more like it is his versus anybody else's. That's why when you saw Paz Vizsla carrying it, it was like heavy and he couldn't like really swing it properly. Even the way Din was swinging the sword, at least he had a little bit more control, but it wasn't like Paz Vizsla had like zero control. And now we're getting into some of the battles I don't like. Oh my goodness. I was so mad when they were showing him with the saber and everything, and they were like, look, I believe that they had made it like part of the commercial, like him fighting with the saber. And that was such a low blow. Like honestly, Disney and Star Wars, that was so low of a blow. I can't even tell you how racist that was. The fact that you had us believing that we're about to see a new Black Jedi, and then you come up with the stupid Rey shit. Oh my god. Oh my god. And then that's not to say that she's like, it's just, god. It was just such a complete, like, why did you do this? Anyways, yeah, there you go. You heard my little of what I really didn't like, and I honestly, I'm not a fan of these new of the new trilogy. It really either needs to be fixed, needs to be explained, needs to be thrown out and redone the proper way, because I would think that you would actually do the original trilogy over in order to actually continue off from, have made 1, 2, and 3. Anyways, they're gonna be making some new Star Wars movies coming soon. It is May the 4th, and everything today is going to be, as we said, Star Wars. So there is going to be some new Star Wars movies coming out, some new Star Wars shows coming out. I think for the battles, for the lightsaber duels, let's just see what else is there. Finn and Rey, and Kylo, Luke versus Kylo. Okay, yeah, no, I'm done. All right, we'll leave it there for now, and at this point, let me just talk a little bit about May the 4th and some of my favorite Star Wars characters for you guys. But yeah, essentially those were the Star Wars battles. Thank you once again, Young Goat on YouTube. If you want to ever go and check out his channel, go ahead and check out his channel. It's just called Young Goat, and you can find all the lightsaber duels in Star Wars. This was apparently he had it up before, but he updated it last year. So thank you so much, and basically, May the 4th, which is known as Star Wars Day. The reason why it even exists in the first place. So I don't know if you guys know this, but the date was basically chosen off its pun and the iconic Star Wars catchphrase, "May the Force be with you," was used with it. So May the 4th, May the Force. So that's why it's used together. So May the 4th became the day for Star Wars Day. And the first person to ever use the pun was in 1979 when what's her name? Margaret Thatcher became the first female Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. She was the one to place an ad in the London Evening News that read, May the 4th be with you. Maggie, congratulations. And of course, since then, it's become this popular thing with Star Wars fans who celebrate it in various ways. Many fans take up in costumes. They have different Star Wars themed parties and watch Star Wars films, including some of them will watch also the animated series and the other stuff that they've come out for content with on Disney. Some cities and organizations even host Star Wars Day events, such as trivia contests, cosplay contests. So a lot of people like to dress up as the different Star Wars characters. So a lot of people will dress up as, Obi-Wan, will dress up as Padme, will dress up as, different other characters like Cad Bane, Ahsoka Tano, who else? Mace Windu. We can name a list of other characters. There's even characters from the video games that people will dress up as. So it's a whole thing. And recently Star Wars Day has become even more significant as new Star Wars content continues to be released. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of new stuff on Disney Plus that you can check out for Star Wars. And it's pretty much an opportunity for Star Wars fans to kind of remember and talk about and like kind of, I guess, reflect on the impact that the franchise has had on pop culture. Of course, since the release of Star Wars really changed a lot of and made a lot of changes in Hollywood. It became a cultural phenomenon when it came out in 1977. It inspired a whole bunch of different movies, TV shows, books, all of that. And as I said, video games as well. So, yeah. And, basically, May the 4th is, something fun. It's something that people participate in, especially if you are a Star Wars geek, nerd. And of course it gives them a chance to come together and show their love for the franchise while also being able to remember the impact that it has on pop culture. So thanks once again, and may the 4th be with you. I'm so terrible with yeah, I have a little slight problem with it. Anyways, so just to kind of like give you some of my favorite characters in Star Wars. So like I said earlier, I really like Qui-Gon Jinn and Darth Maul, but my favorite characters are Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, aka Darth Vader, and Mace Windu. They are my absolute favorite characters in all of Star Wars. Mostly because when I first watched Star Wars as a kid, Darth Vader was just so, like, there was just no getting around him. The way that his presence made everybody like shiver and tremble and like know that like he's coming around. There's not going to be any kind of like messing up or failing. So you have to be on your P's and Q's. It just, I don't know, it just made me like, yeah, I like this. I liked also like that whole way that he breathes. Oh my goodness, my mouth is just not working today. And his whole signature of anyways, I'm not gonna do it. But yeah, I really like Anakin, and the other character I really like is Mace Windu. So I'm gonna tell you about them. Mace Windu. Mace Windu is a character in Star Wars Episode 1, which is the Phantom Menace. He's a Jedi Master. He's a member of the Jedi Council. He's known for his exceptional skills in lightsaber combat and mastery of the Force. He's actually like one of the best wielders of the Force. He was born on the planet Harun Kal and trained in the Jedi Order. He rose to become one of the most respected and most powerful Jedi Masters, serving once again on the Jedi Council during the time of the Clone Wars. Windu was known for his use of a unique lightsaber style called Vapad, which allowed him to channel his inner darkness and use it to his advantage in combat. So this was one of the main things that separated him from most other Jedi. One of Windu's most notable moments in the Star Wars, of course, movies was in Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, when he faced off against the Sith Lord Darth Sidious, as we saw earlier on today. Windu and three other Jedi Masters confronted him. Of course, as we saw, the other three Jedi Masters, they all got cut down, they all got sliced up. Sidious just cut them up. And Windu was there battling against Sidious. So that's basically showing his prowess and his skill with the lightsaber, and with lightsaber, with the Force, and with lightsaber skills. He's also really loved in the franchise, especially for his powerful presence. He has impressive combat skills, as we saw in the anime and in the show. In the animated series. There we go. In the animated series and in the movies, you get to see his skills on display. Throughout the series, Windu was portrayed as a strong and powerful Jedi. He was respected by his peers. He was often called on to lead important missions and was a key figure in the war effort against the Separatists. One of his most memorable moments, I think, is in the series when it came in the fourth season in the episode called Massacre. So this is in the Clone Wars animated series. In addition to his combat skills, Mace Windu was a very crucial player when it came to the diplomacy and politics during the Clone Wars. So a lot of decisions that were being made by the Jedi Council, of course, because he was on it, involved him and his participation in affecting these decisions, and even making and taking charge of some of the decisions that had to be made. Overall, like we said, he remained a beloved character among the Star Wars fans. His appearances in the series of the Clone Wars animated series and the cartoon, Star Wars Clone Wars cartoon that was on Cartoon Network a couple years before, definitely added a lot more depth to his story and to his legacy within the franchise. So I definitely appreciate that the Clone Wars animated series was out there, because otherwise it would have just left us with three movies where we get to see Mace Windu. Now, Anakin Skywalker, also known as Darth Vader, is one of the most iconic Star Wars characters in the franchise. Anakin was first introduced in Star Wars Episode 1 in The Phantom Menace as a young boy with a strong connection to the Force. He was discovered by Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn, as we saw in that first battle, first lightsaber duel that I showed you guys. And he was taken under the wing of Obi-Wan Kenobi, who became his mentor. throughout the prequel trilogy. Anakin, eh, Anakin was struggling with his inner demons, including his fear of loss and his desire of power. He fell in love with Padme Amidala, and their relationship ultimately led to his downfall. Um, Especially because he didn't want to um, relinquish what he had with the Jedi Order, but he basically had to, because he was a Jedi, and Jedi could not have relations like that. Um, and so because of that, you know, he was seduced by the dark side of the Force and became by the dark side of the Force and became Darth Vader, who was one of the most feared figures in the galaxy, and not just in the galaxy, but also like Darth Vader was prophesied in Star Wars lore to come down the road. So, um, Darth Vader, as Darth Vader, Anakin played a key role in the original trilogy as the enforcer of Emperor Palpatine's will. So basically, as I showed you, in the first trilogy, which is episodes 4, 5, and 6, he's an enforcer of what the real Sith Lord actually wants to have done. And so he was known for his menacing appearance and his use of the Force to choke his enemies. However, he also showed signs of conflict and remorse, and throughout the trilogy, especially in his interactions with his son Luke Skywalker, you could really see that he wanted to like change. He wanted to make things right, and his redemption arc in Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, it's one of the most powerful moments in the franchise. He sacrifices himself to basically save his son, and because he's saving Luke, ultimately he defeats the Emperor. He defeats Darth Sidious, basically, and you know he also appears in other movies. Anakin's story has been further explored in other. Like I said, it's a very important story to know within the Star Wars community. And the Clone Wars animated series definitely shed more light on who Anakin actually was and how he ended up getting into that situation. But the animated series definitely puts him in a better light than the movies. You can watch stuff like, of course, you can watch the Clone Wars animated series to get to know Anakin. In Star Wars Rebels, you get to see Darth Vader, and that's when he goes up against Ahsoka Tano as well. One of the most, I guess, like interesting aspects of Anakin's character is his connection with the Force, because he was identified as the Chosen One, a prophecy that foretold a Jedi who would bring balance to the Force. However, his fall to the dark side caused him to become also a major threat to the galaxy. And in the end, it was his sacrifice that ultimately fulfills that prophecy of him bringing balance to the light and dark side of the Force. His character, it's become a cultural icon with his signature helmet, the breathing. As I said, that's what first got me really into Darth Vader. His breathing apparatus being instantly recognizable. I know I botched that, but he has been featured in countless works of fiction and has become a staple of pop culture. His story has also resonated with audiences as it explores themes of love and loss and redemption and struggle between basically him, good, and evil. So overall, Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, is one of the most complex and compelling characters in the Star Wars franchise, and his journey from going from Jedi to being a Sith, it's an amazing journey that you get to actually see in completion. If you watch the first three movies, and in between the second and third movie, you watch the Clone Wars animated series, you get a very, very in-depth idea of who he is. So it's pretty amazing. And yeah, but that's Mace Windu. That's Anakin Skywalker, and that was May the 4th. And may the 4th be with you. May the Force be with you. Oh my goodness. Anyways, once again, thank you for tuning into Good Chronic Convos. May the Force be with you. Happy May the 4th. And peace.